Hello, and welcome back to the last segment of this lesson. In our last lesson, we talked about characteristics of language or languages, and we mentioned quite a number of them. I'm glad to have seen your responses in the comment section. Thank you very much. So, today we're going to be looking at the skills of language. We're also going to be looking at the functions of English language in Nigeria. So at the end of this video, we should be able to talk about the skills, the language skills. We should be able to divide them or put them in two different groups. We'll also be able to state other functions of the English language in Nigeria. And I would like to see all of this in the comment section. So right away, we're going into the skills of language. When we talk about skills, we're talking about abilities. Um, so when we talk about language skills, we're talking about language ability. And for this, we usually focus on four core skills. Four. These four skills work together to create complete communication. These four skills are listening, reading, writing, speaking, or listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So, when we talk about listening ability, we are talking about the ability to receive and comprehend language, not just hear. You know, there's a difference between hearing and listening. You can hear someone speak a language that you do not understand, so you can hear the words, but you do not understand because you do not understand the language, you do not comprehend. So when you listen, you process the sounds, you recognize the words, you interpret the tone, and you construct meaning out of what you have heard. This is usually the first language skill we develop as children. That's why a 2-year old can pick up a cup if the mother says, I need some water. That child knows what water is because the mother has been mentioning water. Then the next skill is reading. Reading is the ability to decode or comprehend written language, written symbols. So when you hold a book and you look at the symbols on the page, maybe on a screen, and you're able to extract meaning from them, it means that you have read. So reading requires you to recognize letters, words, sentences, structures, and understand the context as well as the meaning. That is the second language skill. The next skill is speaking. Speaking is the ability to produce spoken language. It involves choosing our words, the right words, of course, organizing them grammatically, pronouncing them correctly and clearly, and using the appropriate tone and reading for the context in which we are speaking. So, speaking happens real time, so you need to think quickly. The next skill is writing. Writing is the ability to produce written language. Unlike speaking, writing gives you time to plan, to revise, and edit. You need to organize your thoughts clearly since your reader can't ask for immediate clarification like a listener can. For instance, this video, you can't ask me for immediate clarification. You can only put your thoughts, your opinions, or your questions in the comments. And when you do that, I'll be able to read and comment. So it's much like writing. You write, you send to the person, it takes the person time to read, to organize their thoughts, to be able to send back their feedback. We've mentioned four core skills of language: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Now, these four skills are further divided into two. We have the receptive skills and the productive skills. Now, which ones do you think are receptive and which ones do you think are productive? I'd like to see your comments, your thoughts in the comment section. Which of these skills would you classify as receptive, and which would you classify as productive? I'll be waiting for your comments. Good. Thank you. So we'll say listening and reading are receptive because you take in knowledge from another person, from another source, whereas writing and speaking are productive because you create something out of what you have acquired. Now, what are the functions of English language in Nigeria? What are the functions of English language in Nigeria? The first thing we're going to be talking about is the fact that English language is the lingua franca in Nigeria. It is the main language of communication. And in Nigeria, we use the English language in education, all levels of education in Nigeria. English language is used to teach. We use English language in governance. In all government establishments, it is the English language. It's also the language of the judiciary, language of administration. So if you go to the police station and you cannot speak or write English, they'll get an interpreter to do the interpretation for you in your language, and then they can write in English. English language is also the language of media. Yes, we do have, our indigenous languages being used in the media, but it is English language you use in news broadcast. It is English language you use for road signs, etc., etc. What other functions can you think of? What other ways, or in what other segments of the Nigerian system or the Nigerian community do we use the English language? I'd love to see your opinions in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your comments. Thank you and see you in the next video. Have a nice day.